What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here, Fantasy Football Cafe. Just briefly running down some survivor pool picks before the Cubs take on the Pirates. Looking forward to that one, rooting for the Cubbies here. But looking at some football action, Thursday night, one to stay away from, whether Andrew Luck plays or not. Hasselbeck and Luck are both unhealthy, both questionable as a matter of fact. Houston's a point favorite. The game's in Houston. I don't like this game regardless. I think it's a toss-up because the Colts have not looked great. Texans can move the ball against this bad defense. Foster's back, so you like the Texans' chance whether Andrew Luck plays or not. But overall, stay away from that one. Looking at Sunday, Bears and Chiefs. Interesting one here because Vegas has the Chiefs as 10.5 point favorites. But, both 1-3. Chiefs defense hasn't looked that great. Alshon Jeffrey could be back with Forte, Bennett, Cutler all healthy. That's not a bad offense to take advantage of what has been a very, very bad Chiefs defense so far this season. So I think that's actually a toss-up. If I'm a betting man, I'm taking the Bears to cover there easily. Looking at Seahawks and Bengals, another toss-up here because Bengals keep on rolling the games at home. Seahawks 2-2, defense hasn't looked that great. They could have lost last week if little help from the refs. But Cincinnati 3-point favorites here, another toss-up that I'm staying away from. Looking on to Redskins and Falcons. Falcons back at home against the Redskins, 4-0, moving on now. 8-point favorites. I'm taking the Falcons is one of my favorite teams to pick this week. Sure, they're going to be a good team that we don't like to get out of the way early, but we're kind of moving to that time where we're going to have to, especially this week. Falcons offense just too much to handle right now against, that defense who's a little bit banged up. Redskins, just injured all over on the offensive side. Kirk Cousins leading that team. Give me the Falcons easily. Jags and Bucks. Battle of the, cream de la crap there. Jaguars 1-3, Bucks 1-3, 42-point total. Bucks 2.5-point favorites. I don't even want to touch this one because I have no idea how that one's going to come out. This should be probably an ugly game to watch anyway. Saints and Eagles. This should be a high-scoring affair. Both teams have been kind of, opposite of what we expected this season so far on the offensive side. One I'm also staying away from. I just don't like this. Philly is 4.5-point favorites. I'm just going to avoid that one. Browns and Ravens. Ravens, Browns battling for the NFC basement there. Baltimore 7-point favorites. I guess you could say they're, a pretty safe pick, but looking at the offensive side, they're going to need to really ride Forsett. Steve Smith is out. Flacco's going to make some of the other weapons around him, pretty successful. I think it may be a slight win, but Ravens should pull that one out. I gotta like that action. Packers at Lambeau, 10.5-point favorites. That's an easy pick right there. Rodgers at home is almost unbeatable. Rams even with Todd Gurley there, you gotta like the Packers moving forward. Although they aren't a team I really wanna get out of the way just yet. And Bills and Titans. I actually, I think you can get the Bills out of the way here because, despite being 2-2 and looking awful last week, they're just 1-point favorites. But, I like, Buffalo to take this one because their defense is pretty stout. Titans' running game hasn't really been there. Their wideouts and Mariota have looked decent, but it's just a tough matchup. I think Titans' average D is going to allow Buffalo the points that they need to win this game. Looking at the later games here, Cardinals and Lions. Lions 0-4, Cardinals 3-1. Looked a little bit suspect last week against the Rams, but everyone looked suspect last week. It was a down week for a lot of the bigger teams offensively, but I do like the Arizona to bounce back on the road here. And while it is a tougher matchup and there are better matchups to play, I think it is a pretty safe one there, even though they're 3-point favorites. Patriots and Cowboys, oh man, that's an easy one. Pats on the road, favored by 10. Brady, Edelman, Gronk, they're just going to shred that Cowboys defense. Can't see Whedon keeping up at all. Broncos, Raiders, we're moving to these games where it's all the better teams. So get the great matchups this week. You're going to have to get one of them, one of the big teams out of the way here. And Broncos are another one, 4.5-point favorites on the road in Oakland. that Denver defense is really what I'm looking at. Should shut down all that Raiders core that they have that we've been kind of talking about is looking pretty solid so far this season. But Broncos 4.5-point favorites, easy victory in Oakland. 49ers and Giants. Give me the Giants because they're 2-2, 7-point favorites at home Sunday night against Kaepernick, who's turned the ball over a ton this season, just hasn't looked great. Carlos Hyde's been missing since week 1. You know, you're looking at Eli, who's throwing the ball very well. 3 touchdowns. I did not expect in Buffalo against that defense. Yeah, he threw his first pick of the year, but kind of, it wasn't great. It wasn't much of his fault, but I like the Giants here tonight or Sunday night. Monday, Chargers Steelers. This one I'm gonna avoid. Michael Vick there. I think this one's gonna be pretty tightly played both ways. I think it's going to be a ton of points from both sides. Defenses aren't too great. Should just be a high-scoring shootout, and I'm not sure who comes out on top in that one. Your bye week teams, Dolphins, Vikings, Jets, Panthers. Like I said, Giants, Broncos, Pats, Cardinals, Packers. Those are your big teams. Falcons. Those are the teams you want to get out of the way. I know they're bigger names, but it's time to get one of them there. So that's going to wrap it up for week 5.